Well, let's talk about what happens after Utwasa, right? You are waking, you're a healer, and you've gone through the most, right? Just like a healer will do. And what happens afterwards? Especially the self-initiate, because we don't, it's like things are happening to us as we go on, we understand things. The more you get higher spiritually, the more you understand certain things are happening, and we don't get people to explain the stages that happens to us spiritually, and we think we're supposed to just once we finish Twasa, we have all the spirits operating and stuff like that. We can just continue working as this stuff. Then I want to talk to you about another stage that happens to us spiritually, especially when we are going further up spiritually, right? When we leave our ancestors behind. When I'm talking about leaving ancestors behind, they will still be there, but you leave them behind and you go and explore. You meet other spiritual entities, other people, like other deities from different countries and stuff like that. You're learning, as in universally learning about a lot of things. So what happens with us, right? Now, sometimes we'll get confused just because we believe that we were training to become healers. We're supposed to be working with people, helping heal people. Then what happens when that beat seems to feel like it's closing? It's like that beat, it's like the way we feel like when you're working, you're doing other jobs, like I'm talking about normal things, nothing to do with spiritual bit of things, ancestor spirits and guys. When you're about to initiate, it's like that beat of yourself, you feel like you cannot do that, you cannot be around certain places, you cannot be doing the certain jobs that you were doing. You just feel like you're going into the spiritual bit of things, right? And that's when you twasa and you become a healer. Then what happens after you are a healer? What happens after twasa, after you've been working, and that thing happens again? That thing happens again, where you feel you're not supposed to be doing what you're doing, and what you feel you believe you're supposed to be doing forever now. It is your work. You continue as a healer / gobela, helping others and stuff like that. What happens with that? Now, this is when we're saying people, when we grow spiritually, we leave certain things that we used to enjoy, we no longer enjoy. Now, imagine what we've been conformed to, like a healer is supposed to be healing people and being a gobela, initiating others, and that is it. Then what happens when that beat as well feels like you no longer feel like it is part of you, right? It's no longer part of you. Now, you go through another initiation process as gobela as you are. Because when I'm saying gobela, you become a teacher now, right? But then you go through another initiation process where you have to leave some of the things that you were doing. Then it becomes like you see some healers are no longer working as healers, and then they have to do other things, but leave the bit that how come you were like a healer, a sangoma and stuff like that, now you're stopped, you're doing other things that it doesn't look like it's involving ancestor spirits and guides. How come? Now, sometimes becoming a healer is just a way, or sangoma or ngaka or whatever, it's just a way for you to go higher into other things. So it is like a pit stop. You're stopping in for a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 years while you're working as a healer, gobela, whatever you call it, ngaka. And then from there you move on into another step, which is sometimes that is the bit which can be confusing. I'm talking about that because that is where I am in this particular moment in my spiritual path, where I am going further up spiritually. And I've only ever seen one person talking about this. Well, I'm talking about I've been made aware of by my spirit about one person that I can say, okay, I understood, because I was confused about what's happening, right? So you get to that stage where that bit of yourself is like you discarding a little bit of that of yourself in that regard. So you move on to other stages in your spiritual path. Now, if you are in certain areas, they will be surprised because you have to explain yourself. Or remember that you don't actually have to explain to people, but it might be confusing, especially when people are not used to that beat. That you can be a healer and then it comes a time then that beat stops because it's no longer you. You move to that beat, right? You move to that beat. So that's why we are given even the spiritual names. Spiritual names are given when we reach a particular stage, and when you leave that stage, you're given another spiritual name relating to what you're going to be doing in your spiritual path, the new transitional journey that you'll be embarking on. So as self-initiate, be aware of that, because it can happen to a lot of us, and it can be really, really confusing if you don't know that that beat exists. Right? That beat exists. That yes, everything has been discarded, you worked hard, you've gone through the most, and then you became a healer. As you are a healer, now you're getting comfortable being what you trained to be, and then you realize that you're going through another initiation, another uktwasa, whereby the beat that you're now used to is no longer comfortable for you. That is what I'll talk to you as I'm going along the journey. So this is where I am at this particular moment. So I'll be sharing with you as I'm going on it. So you'll understand it as you see where I'm going in my spiritual path. So that is another level in my spiritual path. So I hope this video will help you understand that these things happen to us healers, different levels in our spiritual path. So yes. And Kanyan.